All right. Hello, more, and good afternoon. I'm so glad you could join me. I really appreciate it. To be a part of our first SEACT, what we're calling Digital Vendor Fair. So this is kind of an interview process to know more, a little bit about you, but also a whole lot more about what you do and how your organization might be a benefit to our SEACT partners. So to start off, introduce yourself and tell us where you work.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sabrina. It's so great to be here this afternoon. My name is Moore Aframian, and I am a manager of marketing with TransLoc. And we provide software and services for transportation agencies. So we do everything from fixed route, on demand, planning and design services. And I'm really excited. We're about to roll out our marketing services later this quarter as well. And so really at the heart of the work and mission that we do is we want to revolutionize the way that people move. We really believe in transit justice and equity and looking at how do we address the need for people who rely on transit first, and then from there, growing it out, making sure that everybody in a community has access to transportation.
So as a director of operations here and overseeing our Commuter Express service, you just gave me chills. I loved that. Everything you said, that was really great and inspiring. So very exciting. How did you end up connecting with TransLoc?
Well, I went to NC State, which is where TransLoc was born. So I remember the very early days of TransLoc as a student myself, very much relying on those timetables and saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to catch that bus or I'm going to have to wait for the next one. And I just kept up with the company, and I ran into like all sorts of social entrepreneurship circles. And so TransLoc just kept coming up and coming up. And then about 3 years ago, I saw that a good friend of mine happened to be working at TransLoc, and she posted a job listing, and it sounded like she was asking me to apply for the job. So I, of course, sent her my resume, and, within probably a couple of weeks, I was hired, and really what solidified my wanting to be part of TransLoc is meeting people who were so passionate about the work that we are doing. And I just knew that, if I'm going to commit my talent and my time to an organization, I really wanted to be an organization that does something for the greater good. And that just was missing in my previous work life. And so it's been definitely a roller coaster of like emotions, because I never really understood, I knew like transportation is important and it matters, but getting into the industry and really seeing the struggle that some people have to deal with day in and day out, and just getting to work really made me even more passionate about what it is that we do. Yes, at the heart of it, we have software that helps, transit agencies, but I always see the ultimate person that we're helping is that rider, the person who is able to get on the bus or, get an on-demand shuttle to pick them up from their house and then takes them where they need to go.
That's awesome. So I am a TransLoc user. So I want to be careful not to assume everybody knows as much about the product as I do. But if you could hit on maybe like 2 or 3 things that TransLoc really provides, or that you're most excited about, or where you see you guys really moving in the space so people could get a better idea, that would be great.
Yes. So at the one that I'm very, very excited about is our planning and design services that we just rolled out earlier this year. And that's really kind of taking all of the information that our software collects. So we work with fixed route management. So if you have a fixed route service, we help with being able to track those buses, showing your bus capacity. And then we also have on-demand software, and that's for any of your demand response services that you want to offer. Can be within specific zones, specific times. We really try to tailor the solution to each of our clients. And then on top of that, we just rolled out the planning and design services, where we have 2 AICP certified planners who can dig into that data, look at historical data of what's going on, look at the data of the current, especially considering, all of the different reductions that a lot of transit agencies had to have over, during the pandemic. And then being able to say, okay, well, what are your goals, or who are the people you're trying to serve? And then being able to run different simulations and scenarios so that you can plan for different scenarios. And then really kind of move from this more traditional, I don't want to say like fixed route mentality, because fixed route is very important. But from a more traditional fixed transit services to something that's going to be more flexible and also adaptive over the course of, the next 10 to 20 years. We've seen that communities are changing, people's needs and circumstances are changing. And so how can we make it easier for transit operators to really deliver the service that their community needs? And a lot of that does have to do with considering what resources you have, how can you allocate them, where can you find some efficiencies, where can you save some money and put that money towards, expanding services in certain communities, and also considering that it's always evolving. We've learned from the pandemic that nothing is certain. And sometimes it changes for me, it was like within a day, I got the news like, okay, you're working from home starting tomorrow. And so being able to have those scenarios planned out and make changes as needed.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So tell me a little bit about your client base. Are you focused on North Carolina? Is TransLoc everywhere?
Yeah, we are in all across North America, and we have several segments that we cater to. So we have our municipalities, universities, corporate campuses, airports, hospitals, and then we're also working on I'm trying to think about the word, but it's not coming to me, but essentially hotels, like whatever that, the travel industry, there we go. And so we actually kind of like span also like the sizes of our, client base. So we have some large, system where they may have more than 50 buses, to more rural communities where they may only have like one or two buses or shuttles. And so we kind of like span the spectrum of different service sizes.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. I learned a lot of good stuff there. So that's interesting. So what would you say kind of sets you apart from other providers that are in the similar space?
I think for us, it's really 100% the passion and the people behind it. And also, we are part of a larger ecosystem with Ford Mobility. And we have sister companies like Spin Scooters or City Solutions, or looking at autonomous vehicles. And so we really are looking at overall city planning and how can we really leverage all of these different resources to provide a solution stack that really is going to be custom tailored to a community or to a city. And so working with TransLoc, it's not just us, but it's also our ecosystem of partners, and also the support of Ford, who's very much committed to a sustainable world, one that, we really are bringing back the community to city life. So looking at things like how do we get rid of the curb and replace that with more bike lanes, or, making cities more walkable, and also considering like, how do we ensure that all people really have access to transportation so that they feel like they have the same freedom as, anyone else, be it somebody who has a disability or somebody who's just living outside of downtown city limits. How do we really bridge those gaps, and how does that lead to economic and social opportunity?
Right. That's good. Okay. So, if somebody is interested in connecting with TransLoc or getting more information, where do they go? Who should they contact? What do they do?
Yeah, well, they should definitely go to our website, transloc.com. And then the very top right corner, there's a Get Started button, and that'll get them connected with one of our consultants. And so, we're always available. You can also email info@transloc.com. There's always someone there who's going to answer and get back to you right away. And then we are also going to be at lots of different industry events throughout the, Q3, Q4, both in person and virtual. And so we are always looking for ways to connect and have conversations. I know we'll have 2 of our members at ACT International, which we're really excited about that. And then looking for more ways to have those in-person connections. So I know that that's slowly coming back, and our team will be traveling some more. So definitely reach out to us either at info@transloc.com or visit our website.
Excellent. And so, in closing, I guess I'm going to turn it back to you. Take it away from TransLoc for a minute. What is one fun fact about yourself that you would like to share with our chapter members?
A fun fact about me is that I set out to be a fashion designer. So when I went to school, I went to NC State College of Textiles, was, sure that I was going to be a fashion designer working in the fashion industry, learned everything about the fashion industry, got super disenchanted with it, and instead decided, you know what, I'm going to start my own organization, all focused on sustainable textiles and the choices that we make as individuals. And, how do we educate consumers? How do we empower designers? And so for about 8 years, I produced fashion shows, worked with local fashion designers all across the Southeast, and really just had like a really wonderful time getting to know this bright community of innovators and passionate people who really do care about the impact on our environment. And so I'm a total sucker for anything sustainable fashion, and probably nobody wants to go shopping with me, because the first thing I'll do, no matter what, when I see something that I like, I go right to that tag. I read through what are the contents, where it was made, try to get as much information before I decide, do I like this or not?
That's awesome. And a very fun fact. I would not have guessed. And it's so interesting you ended up in transportation. But so many people I think that I have met, in this industry it's like these random paths that get us here. So very exciting. Well, Maura, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure that the rest of our chapter members are really going to enjoy getting to learn more about you, as well as the TransLoc product. And I hope you have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a great afternoon as well.
Okay.